Hello, Steve White, Trickboy89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, we have some ongoing news regarding Nichelle Nichols and her conservatorship battle. It's fairly messy. I first became aware of this about 3 years ago. Now, I've met Nichelle 3 times, which is, I think, the last 3 times she's come to Australia. The first time I met her, she was still with her husband and then manager Jim Meakin. And I don't know, I wasn't really following what was happening because most of it was kept fairly private. She was amazing to meet in person. The second time I met her, it was obvious that she was having problems, and no one knew until we all got to the convention, and then it was kind of like the elephant in the room, and everyone was just being very nice about the fact that she was obviously stuck in some things, and it was a little bit upsetting. I had some questions I'd planned out that I was going to ask her and all that. I had to cut that back to pretty much nothing. And then when I went to meet her afterwards, I gave her my autograph, and I was waiting till she finished before. I just wanted to say thank you for some of the things she'd said to me the other time that she'd been in Australia, and just in general. And the manager, the guy who was running the show, came in to have her sign autographs for him, and he basically put them down before I even got to speak to her and then asked me to leave. So I was really upset that I didn't get to really say goodbye to her because I thought I'm not going to see her again. But then she came back with, I think it was the Supernova Expo or Armageddon. Well, I don't think it was Comic Con. It was one of the big expos. So she came for that. And I was actually able to get some time alone for her just to tell her, what she meant to me and to thank her for that. And she was happy to meet up with me. It was very nice. Like, she was meeting up with people. It was like, that was when George and Walter were there as well. So I saw them and I met George's husband and everything. They're all very nice. They're all taking care of her. She seemed fine. She seemed better because she'd had the stroke in between. And I remember I saw that on the news and I was like, oh no, she's probably not got long now. And she actually seemed to improve after that. She did an interview on ET with Nichelle Turner, who I think was named after Nichelle Nichols. And she seemed to be doing better, and then she came back to Australia, and I met her again, and I thought, wow, this is okay. But then we started to hear there are other problems. Now, it all comes down to 3 people. The first is her son, Kyle Johnson, who was petitioning for conservatorship and guardianship. Her former manager, her next manager, what was his name? Somebody Bell. I've written a bunch of notes, and if anyone's watched my videos, you know I can't read my own notes. Gilbert Bell. He was her manager, and he had sold his home and moved in with her for 2 years without paying rent, but then he started paying rent, and he was basically working as a carer and a manager, and he did help get her on track because apparently, allegedly, she had been drinking in her older age, and she wasn't doing as well with her conventions and managing her own business. So he apparently, allegedly, came in and got her from doing like 3 conventions a year, or 2 conventions a year was the number, up to at least 3 a month, going between 10 to 15,000 for a small convention and 40 to 50,000 for a large convention, and her annual income went into the hundreds of thousands after he sort of moved in and started helping her. That's what he was claiming. But Johnson was claiming that he was mismanaging it, and he was using the position, basically the fact he was basically living in her home. Because she bought a house in 1982, and then she bought in 1994 after she released her book. She bought the neighbouring house and turned it into a guest house, and he was living in there. So basically they were next door to each other. So he petitioned to basically get rid of him. And in 2013 she collapsed. Sorry, I couldn't find the word. Collapsed and was found she had pancreatitis, and that was alleged to be caused by the drinking. But apparently with help from... He signed her out of the hospital. She wanted to leave on her own. They wouldn't let her. He basically took her home. She wanted to live there. She wanted to be managed by him, apparently. She did better after that. They went back out doing the conventions, and she made appearances. She even appeared on... I think The Young and the Restless in 2016 and got an Emmy nomination. So she was working, she was happy, she was active. Apparently she liked the attention, even though she was ill. Often when you have something to live for, basically, you live better. So she was living in her own home. She was continuing to do conventions, continuing to work, doing fan films and small independent films and everything. And that's where she met Angelique Fawcette. Now, I've spoken to Angelina Fawcette. I want to say Gillette Fawcett. I don't know why. A couple of times on Facebook when she put up a video, because when she came into her life, I think around, was it 2009 or 2012. Her husband, Stephen Fawcett, was a producer on the film Unbelievable, which Nichelle was in. And she got very involved in her life, which looks a little bit suspicious because she didn't know her until then. But she felt that Nichelle wasn't being able to live the life that she wanted. They were trying to move her out of her house. She didn't like the way Belle was managing her money. She didn't like the way Kyle was managing her money either. She felt that both of them had their own interests at heart. And she sort of opposed Kyle's conservatorship and basically sued for visitation because she wasn't allowed to see her as a friend. And she did a video of Nichelle stating what she wanted from her life, where she wanted to live, what she wanted to do from her career. And she released that in 2018, and that was when I started talking to her. And then Belle also later released a video where he was talking to her and she was saying that she didn't give Kyle, she didn't allow him to have conservatorship, that it was basically done to her, and that she wanted to stay where she was and wanted things how she were. And apparently Kyle comes in and removes her and takes her to a room, and she's like screaming, "No, get your hands off me." I didn't watch that video because I didn't want to. I know when it came out at the time, people were quite concerned. I just read what happened to it. I didn't want to see it. I love Nichelle, so I mean, I know I've only met her a couple of times. I don't know her personally, but she was my favourite Star Trek star, and Star Trek was very important to me. And she was the first person I met, the first convention I went to when I had a lot of problems, and going out to see her and go to this was a big deal for me at the time, which helped me to sort out a lot of my problems, which is what I sort of credited to her and thanked her for later because of some things that she said. So it's very upsetting. It's strange when you love celebrities and stars and that, and you don't really know these people, but you feel like you do. You feel like they're extended, like family, like they're just relatives you know, but you just never see. Like it's a strange thing, especially on the convention circuit, where we meet a lot of these people and spend quite a lot of time with these people, and they spend a lot of time with us, with Star Trek fans and fandom. It's very different, I think, from other sort of Hollywood actor-fan relationship sort of things. So it's very upsetting. And eventually, Kyle got conservatorship, as was in the video that Belle posted, and he took her to New Mexico. And she didn't want to be in New Mexico. She wanted to be out doing her conventions. She stopped for a while. She came back, and he was managing some conventions for her, but she wasn't doing as much as she wanted. She was supposed to be doing a final convention that was cancelled. She was supposed to be making an appearance at the Federation of Trekkers, but that was cancelled. She was supposed to be appearing at Creation Entertainment's convention this last weekend or recently. I'm not sure how long the article was written, because they just did a big convention in Las Vegas. I'm not sure if that was the Creation Entertainment one or not, because I wasn't paying attention to it, because obviously I'm not going. I'm in Australia and we're in the middle of COVID. So basically this weekend or last weekend recently, they sold her house, which sold for $2.2 million. So that's supposedly being put into her account to take care of her. He's purchased a small house in New Mexico, and he's living there and taking care of her. He's the main conservator and caregiver. But friends feel that she's not being allowed to live the life she wants. She's not living where she wants. She's not living in the city she wants, in the house she wants, and she's not doing what she wants. And other people are claiming, well, she's got dementia, she's getting sick, she can't do what she wants, she can't live where she wants. And the main point that Ms. Fawcett had was that she really, with small amount of management, could take care of her own affairs. And whether that's true or not, or whether that's changed, it's been 3 years, but that's basically the argument. Is friends and people who know her feel like she's not being allowed to live the life she wants. Other people feel that she was having a lot of problems. Nana Visitor said that she didn't really seem to know what she was doing. You'd make a statement and then she'd ask a question about the statement like you hadn't asked the question. And Other people have been contacted and commented, and it's all very sad. She is not well, and that would be progressive. So maybe she just can't do the conventions and she can't live in her own home. But Kyle didn't seem to be too concerned with that, and he was reported to be kind of aggressive, and that it's just, obviously I'm not there, I don't know, and there's lots of reports, and it's just very worrying because you don't know what's happening on the inside, and you don't know if these people are being exploited for their money. Kyle was suggesting that, God, what is her name? I keep wanting to say Angelique. It is Angelique. I don't know why I kept thinking that was the wrong name. Angelique Fawcette was saying that he just wanted to get into her bank accounts and get to her money, which, considering now he's Conservator and they've sold her house and they've got that money, that could be true. He's saying she just wanted to use her for her fame, and I didn't know who she was before she was friends with Nichelle and talking about her and her issues. So who knows? It's all very confusing. It's all very sad. Her sister was contacted. She raised $146,000 in Indiegogo campaign to help her, because while she wasn't working, she wasn't able to pay the house off, and there was debts, and because she wasn't managing her money, wasn't being managed well. So there were problems, but that did seem to be manageable by having her do her conventions, which she wanted to do. She was getting very good money for it. But her sister felt like she lost her long ago. She's not the same person she was. And I think that's it. I am all run out of notes. Yep. There was issues with the mortgage before the house was sold. Bell was accused of inducing Nichelle to get a reverse mortgage. He says he has nothing to do with it, but the house has been sold now, so that's moot. But it's all very complicated. I've got a lot of notes. And some of it I knew because I was paying attention to it, but some of it I didn't because I wasn't paying too much attention to it because I didn't really want to know what was happening because it's so sad. And there's nothing really anyone can do. He's got sole conservatorship. He's bought a new house. He sold the old one. She's in New Mexico now. She doesn't have the ability to go anywhere by herself or do anything she wants by herself. So we just have to hope that they are taking care of her and that her wishes and her wants are actually being fulfilled. But there's no way to know. And it's very sad. And it just hit the paper just recently because I think of the house being sold, because obviously that part of it was a big fight to keep her in her house, and obviously that chapter of it has ended. Now it's really just a matter of people, like the New York Times tried to speak to her. He wouldn't let her speak to them. Other friends have wanted to see her. They haven't been able to see her in years, like 2 or 3 years. They're petitioning for the visitation rights to see her, like Mrs. Fawcett and one of the editors of one of the Star Trek magazines and fan clubs that she's been friends with for years. So if he doesn't allow people like that to see her, it does look very suspicious. But he could, I mean, so far as reporters, he could just be protecting her privacy. But if he's not allowing friends to visit her, it does kind of make you suspicious that he's not really caring about taking care of her, more just protecting her from talking to other people. So, you know, she can't say if she's not happy or if she wants things done differently. It's very difficult. For a while, there was actually an independent company, Bill J. Hawkins, a consultant from a company, B.J. Hawkins, who was appointed by the court in 2020 to actually be the conservator and take care of all her business. Now, I think Kyle stayed in charge of her day-to-day needs and that as a relative, as a son, but the business was actually handled by Mr. Hawkins. So, and he felt that it wasn't managed well for her or for her benefit. So that was very telling. Once they gave it to someone independent, no one got a good review, not Mr. Bell or her son. So the fact that he got it all back and sold the house and has all that money is a little bit of a worry. But I don't know what's happening. It's just sad. And I wanted to talk about it, but I didn't. I saw the article and I thought, I really should do a video on it, because I did a lot of YouTube posts back in the day when it first started and when the first petitions against his conservatorship were sort of lodged, but I wasn't doing a YouTube channel then, so I haven't spoken about it since. But there's not much else to say. I just guess we'll wait to see what happens and hope that she manages to live out the last of her years happy, and that she, you know, is being taken care of. That's all we can wish for, I guess. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. If you you have any information or updates that you've seen anywhere, let me know. I haven't seen anything. I did a bit of a Google before I did this because the article, I think, was only a couple of days old. But, anything could have happened. But, yep, I'm going to go. Thanks. Bye.